The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Full Melt.
It's the Full Metal Show.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
This is the Full Melt.
Give me a break.
The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. TheFullMelt.com.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Full Melt Show. I'm Steve Green, your host. The Mad Blaster is gone tonight. Still waiting to hear about the outcome of the Mad Blaster. But we've got much more interesting things or many more interesting things to ponder the future about on tonight's program. And really, I think that's all anybody is doing right now across the whole country is pondering about marijuana. Good Lord. If you'd like to chime into tonight's conversation, I'm going to go ahead and give you a phone number. Here's the number to the show. It is 248-278, I believe it's 8067. 248-278-8067. Late yesterday, we didn't do a show yesterday because I was busy over working with the Planet Green Trees show, doing some stuff for them. But there was some late-breaking news that kind of escaped my whole vision. I had heard about it in the morning, but didn't get a chance to see about it until actually this morning. I was, came straight home and went to bed after that. With us on the phone right now is Jamie Lowell. Jamie, hello, are you there?
I am here. Hello.
And I don't want to steal any thunder, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be Jeff or another person from MiLegalize on the phone. Hello, can you hear us? Hello? Can
me.
Oh, there's somebody else. There should be somebody else there, though. I just don't know if they can hear us.
Good.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm on the line, but I can't understand.
Deborah.
You guys, but
Yes. Okay.
I'm here.
All right, Deborah, let's just see if we can help get your phone straightened out. Hang on a second. Can you hear me at all? Okay. Is it bad? Is the audio bad? Hang on, Jamie. Deb, can you hear us at all?
I can hear you. You're not real clear, but I can hear you.
Oh, boy. Let's see. I'm just going to see if I can make it any better. Hang on, Jamie. You can't talk right now. Hold on. All right. Tell me if anything gets better, Deb. Tell me if anything gets better. Better,
Okay.
better, worse.
There you go.
That's better?
Way better, yeah.
Okay. So, Jamie, can you still hear me?
I'm not talking until I get to
that's Jamie, can you still hear me? Is your cue to talk? Can you hear me okay? Jamie?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
I can hear you fine.
So Deb can still hear me, yes?
I can hear you. Jamie, it's almost impossible to understand.
Okay, so let me turn him down for you, too. Okay, say something, Jamie. See if she can hear you better now.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit
I'll
more.
be heard better than I was able to be heard before.
That's good, Jamie.
All right, so now you can
There you go, Steve.
you can understand Jamie now, and Jamie can understand you. Are you hearing Deb okay?
Yeah, good enough.
Sorry about the on-air
Good
phone.
enough.
So well, see, hey, at least we know we're deciphering each other's code here.
Right.
It's sorry about the on-air phone calibration, but we're in the process of moving, so knobs are getting turned. So, the dawn
discussion about the radio show.
Yeah, right. The dawn of what we're talking about here is the future of cannabis, at least in Michigan. And the news was, who wants to break the news? Because I haven't said it on the show here yet. This is who wants to take the lead here.
Deb's got
Go
it.
ahead, Jamie.
Go. He went that away.
So we have
MiLegalize is going to
Wait.
relaunch,
Now
which
you're both doing it.
Oh, sorry. Go.
Go ahead. So I'm going to pick one. Deb, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Okay, so MI 2018, we're getting ready to launch the new petition drive. Of course, everybody's aware that we have 2 cases in federal court right now, so of course we're still pursuing the court cases. But we cannot just sit by and do nothing. We are ramping up for MI 2018. We'll start the petition drive in early spring. That's the big news. We're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it over the summertime in the 180-day period, and that's the news.
Wow. So, how did we come upon this decision? What was weighing in the balance on this decision? And either one of you can take that. I mean, what brought everybody together to make that particular decision? Was there a barrier in the way? Because it seems like this is a no-brainer that if you failed, you keep working at it. But we weren't successful this time, and there's probably some lessons to be learned. Have we applied that to going forward? Have we applied the lessons learned moving forward to how we might be more successful coming? Because I know we knew what that was.
Yeah, certainly. We've learned from we made a few small errors. We started the campaign a little late, and although we raised over $1 million, we did it over a period of about a year, whereas you really need $1 million up front to get started. So that's going to be the difference there. We're going to do some heavy-duty fundraising in the next few months and make sure we have enough when we start. And we're going to start on time. We're going to start April, right at the beginning of April, right in there, so we have all the nice weather, all the fine months to petition in. We already have a core group of volunteers, so we're going to do something about an advisory committee for the board of directors and bring some new people aboard, maybe some fresh ideas, some more people to help us in the field. But besides that, our main focus has not changed, Steve. Our proposal is basically going to be the same. There's going to be a few little tweaking things that we need to do to it. But basically, it's going to be the same proposal, and we're just going to move forward, and we're going to do the job. We did it the first time. The state of Michigan blocked us. You know the story.
Oh, yeah.
So, we haven't failed. They blocked us. There's a difference between Snyder blocking us and us failing. We got almost 400,000 signatures collected. We turned in 354 that we vetted, so we know that they were good signatures. They just screwed us all over, and we're just not going to take it. So that's part of the catalyst. Is we're pissed off. As a board, we got together and we said we cannot just sit still and do nothing. We have to take the what did they say? The bull by the horns. We have to move now. We have to get organized. We have to do this right now because we're going to do this. There's no doubt. We're going forward. We're going to do this.
Now, is there a new fundraising plan, or are we just going to do the same thing where we do some small community gatherings and donations at particular events, this kind of thing? Or do we have some other national money that might be looking at us?
Well, we're always looking for national money. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, find any in the last campaign. This was financed mostly by just small donations from people all over the state, activists, patients, caregivers. And we had one really great donor who matched everybody's money. But I think that this time we were really talking about some professional fundraising. Of course, we're going to do the community outreach because that's not just fundraising. That's also, keeping people in a loop and keeping people, relevant and updated and things like that. So we're not going to drop the community fundraising we did, but we're going to go for some bigger ticket items too.
So in the long run, I guess the field has been played this political cycle by all these other states that have never gotten into the marijuana realm, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe there'll be some vacuum there that we could suck up some of those dollars, assuming there are any left.
Yeah.
There's a good opportunity there. And also, because this is outside of the cycle of the presidential election now, this could have some other political reverberations, couldn't it? We could pour out people that can't stand Governor Snyder and his administration, and the hawks who are up there in control of the Senate and the House right now, who are doing everything that they can to pay off their political donors and friends and their big wig, big deep pocket friends by doing stuff like this.
Well, they did. That's what they did, and they blocked us. But that's not going to happen twice. Believe me, our eyes are wide open. This will not happen to us.
Now, Jamie, when we look at doing this again, is this going to be the same ballot language, or are there going to be any tweaks?
We're going to keep the language open. Our core principles will definitely remain, but we're going to spend some time trying to attract new partners and people who have good ideas and resources to bring to the table for the advisory board that Deborah brought up before. And so we don't want to have a closed system, although we are going to stick pretty closely to the core principles that we had before. So it will be very similar language, but it'll be a little sharpened up, and it'll have had the input of other people who should be working with us.
My concern...
And the type of people that we're talking about, we'll start announcing. I mean, we're talking about another thing that compels us to do this or use this as our plan B is because of the outpouring of support. And some of these people are very resourceful and experienced in these types of things. And these people join us, will be announcing that. And it's going to be an experience a lot more focused and with more time. Last time we kind of responded out of desperation. This time we have more experience and the ability to organize.
Yeah.
Now, my concern, I think, is a lesson learned from the last go-round in Ohio, that the money that you may need to attract to get this job done, if we try to do this with some political money from the national end, has changed, it seems, from philanthropic money, people who want to donate for a good cause, to money from big business. It seems like the pool of donor money has changed in principle, and there are some attachments with that money. And I think that's what screwed Ohio, is that the people that they needed to get the money from had to be big business people, and they had different edicts in mind with regards to the way this wants to go down.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Stephen. These are the same folks that have been fighting us for years, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, a light bulb went up over their heads, and they said, wow, we can make a buttload of money doing this. And they swooped in because they already have a buttload of money, and they were able to buy the program in Ohio. They were able to influence the medical program here in Lansing. It's the same type of thing going on all over the country, I'm sure. But the voters are not fooled by this. If this stuff would get in front of the voters know the difference. You see that they turn this bad proposals down in different states. So the voters, but these guys have deep, deep pockets, and they can really buy whatever they want.
Well, so I think the thing that happened because there was a grassroots effort, much like MiLegalize in Ohio, that was really thwarted and kind of gutted by these people with bigger pockets.
Yeah. They ended up passing bills just like they did here in Michigan,
right?
To shut that campaign down.
Well, not only, but I think it goes beyond that. But you guys, hang on a second. I'm going to take both of you guys off the air because the music is hitting. We're hitting the commercial break, and that music there's a problem with feedback and stuff. Anyway, so if you can bear with me through the break, we'll go through the commercial break, and we'll come back on the other side and talk about how you can get involved and what it may mean coming up next.
You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp well drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet, with superior taste, smell, and nutrition. We hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of hemp well drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell. Hemp health for pets.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
Yes, sir. We are just here to get you qualified, okay, for the lower interest rates.
This is a Visa card.
Okay. It's a Visa card, starts with 4, right?
So why do you need the numbers off the card?
I was going to let you know, what is your new interest rate going to be and what you qualified for, okay?
Well, wouldn't it be a security risk if I was to give my card number over the phone?
Sure, we are the one who sent you the billing statement every month.
Aren't you really just a liar? Aren't you just lying about this? Aren't you just trying to steal my credit card number? Oh, you are, you little piece of shit. You're a little fucking liar, aren't you? You're a little foreign piece of shit, aren't you? You're a little foreign fucking puke, aren't you?
That's what you are, fucking piece of shit.
Oh no, you get to suck you get to suck my fucking American dick, you foreign piece of fucking shit. There you go. That's how you do that.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
Wish your skin could bounce back like it used to? Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel instantly quenches skin to keep it supple and hydrated day after day. With hydrating hyaluronic acid, which retains up to 1,000 times its weight in water. This refreshing water gel plumps skin cells with intense hydration and locks it in. For supple, hydrated skin that bounces back. Hydro Boost from Neutrogena. See what's possible.
And now, a Planet Green Trees flashback.
That is the paradox. Like you can't make the civil employees rebut the presumption, right? The state just gave $8.5 million to this administrative agency to implement. I mean, the concept there is a little offset.
The police are still seem to be involved in it.
Nothing takes incentives away from police. In fact, it gives them more fish to shoot in the barrel.
Right.
The police are literally the regulatory agency for the entire program.
And why is that?
They needed their cut.
They're the only ones knowledgeable and responsible enough to handle it. This major public health and safety issue.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees Show, Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker. It's the Full Melt Radio Show. You're damn tuned it is. Don't you forget it. Oh, somehow I think nobody will forget it. Will you forget it, Jamie? Are you going to forget it? No.
I'll not forget it.
Let's see if Deb will forget it.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't either. Deb, are you going to forget it? No, she probably can't.
Wow, what's all that stuff?
Oh, sorry, it's the music. It's probably the music. I'm sorry, Deb. Hang on, we're going to wait for the music to stop. The music has stopped for everybody else but you. There you go. Okay, I think it's gone away. Can you hear us better now, Deb? Deb, are you with us?
I'm still here, but I can only hear static and music.
Or are you against us?
I think the music is gone. The music should have went away.
Okay, the music is gone.
You're hearing a lot of static, though?
No, it just stopped.
It's a typical ringing in her.
Yeah. Fuck you, James.
He's blaming it on the sativa, is what he's blaming it on. That buzz is not electronic, is what he's saying.
Okay.
All right, so looking forward. So we got to start all over again, and this time there's definitely a short window. We're climbing directly through the window. It's not a broad window, right?
You know what, Steve, let me temper that. Our official line is, and we understand not to get too excited before anything really is decided, but we do have these cases in federal court, and this is our plan B, and, we kind of say, this is all over with, and we have to do this again and stuff. One of the reasons we included the federal court cases in our press release, and we call this a plan B, is because that is still going on. I mean, I just don't want to lose sight of that, and saying stuff like we have to do this over.
Well, you bring up a good point. I mean, I don't want to. I think I have at least characterized it in only that fashion. Like, this is a new attempt. We're starting over again. But really, you're right. This is a plan B. This is the ace up the sleeve, so to speak, and also some political pressure probably on the judiciary. Wouldn't you think?
Yes.
I think if the judiciary knows that you already got the gun loaded again for round two, that they might just want to just kind of get this over with.
Well, that's kind of what we expected from the Michigan courts, and they weren't too impressed with anything. They just kind of kept asking us up the pipeline. So
that's because
courts will be different.
That's because the legislators are doing the reach around, and you can't see it under the robe.
Oh, for sure. But you know what? I had some kind of
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I had some kind of idealistic view of the Michigan Supreme Court. I don't know why, but I just thought they're going to do the right thing. It's the Supreme Court. It's the Supreme Court. And you know what? They're in somebody's pocket, too. And that's something that I learned.
It's the corruption goes so deep that I say that this seems to me much the way that we characterized the Politburo and the Soviet Union back before the Reagan breakup.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I mean,
No,
I'm
I
really
agree
not.
with you.
We have state police in a police state running around as if they're the Gestapo, and they're unchecked by anybody. If they're checked by anybody, it's themselves, and we're all good with what we're doing. So go away. There's nothing to see here.
And how screwed are we when our top court is even involved in the shenanigans? It's just ridiculous.
I mean,
let me just reiterate about these court cases. You know, we offered up a very thorough list of complaints, but at the heart of it was the undue burden, the unconstitutional denial of ballot access. Okay, none of the responses from the state and none of the decisions by the judges even addressed it. Blocked it all out, never even gave us a hearing. Now, we went to federal court, district court, not us, a couple signers and circulators of the petition, but it affected us. Went to Eastern District Court, got a hearing right away. The hearing is on whether or not to put a restraining order on the ballot printing and stuff like that. The judge decided not to, but it was refreshing to get a hearing at least when you bring an issue to the court. And we didn't get that at all from any of the state courts. So then the next day, of course, after we had denied out of the state courts, these stupid bills passed the Senate.
Yeah, it's just very fishy, Steve. I mean, you know, it just, and not only that, what Jamie's saying, we got a very quick hearing in federal court. We also got a decision on our motion at that hearing. So the federal court seems to at least be going into it, you know, without some kind of bias. In Michigan, they're totally biased. There's no hope for the courts in Michigan at this point. My opinion.
Well, it's like you say. I mean, if you've been bought off, you've been bought off. But at least go out and say it.
Or at least make it look like you actually read our motions and our briefs. They didn't even answer anything. Like they hadn't even looked at it.
Like, here's your answer, regardless of what you wrote. Here's your answer.
Exactly. Here's your answer, and it doesn't address anything in your motion at all. Nothing.
Well, it doesn't address the grievances made in the complaint.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
The answers are non-responsive to the grievances addressed.
Exactly, and I don't know how a court does that. And how does the Supreme Court do that?
With kangaroo legs, I say.
Yeah.
Because you got to do some major leaping in a kangaroo court like that to get around. I mean, this is classic avoidance. I mean, this is
one
what
of
this is.
The rulings from the Supreme Court said. Sorry.
I was just trying to say this is classic avoidance. This is what politicians do. Courts are not supposed to be places of politics. Courts are supposed to be places of determining what the law means. Definition of law.
Exactly.
That's what this is. So,
bipartisan definition of law, constitutional. Exactly, Steve. So I don't understand that. How does the Supreme Court so political? Just crazy.
It's not even just the Supreme Court, but all the courts. Like I'm saying, somebody came along and said, you, and you're getting elected next year. You, and you're getting elected, and you guys are all the enemies of you, and you. And so they basically set the stage themselves. It's like they're taking out the box of the chess game and opening up the board and placing all the pieces and kind of just putting them where they want to put them. And because it's at their leisure. It's when you've got money, it's at your leisure. Everybody is at my leisure.
Yeah, well, we got news for them.
We're
not taking it laying down.
Question.
Yeah, the state government is just screwed, but we're not going to take it. We're pushing back.
Well, go ahead, Jamie. You were trying to say before I made the point about the clowns in the courts that are really politicians instead of judges.
Yeah, one of the rulings, for example, in the Supreme Court was based on not being able to grant the relief that we sought. Not necessarily anything about whether we were right or wrong in our arguments.
Right. It was a time frame.
That was dodging the bullet. And then in the Court of Claims, for example, they the judge there, Judge Borrello, cited a Supreme Court case that pertains to constitutional amendments, not statutory initiatives, as we have. So he kind of evaded the issue by smoke and mirrors a little bit, too. So the whole thing is extremely screwed up.
Yeah.
Seemed to me the only one
reason why we have to do this. We have to stop crap like that. We have to bring this back to the people.
Yeah, it seemed to me the only judge that actually understood.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Jamie probably couldn't hear you.
No, I was just saying it seemed to me that the only judge that actually read our motion, actually understood our points, was the judge in the federal case that she turned down our emergency motion, but the case is still active. And basically what I caught from her is that she understood us. She knew what was going on. She couldn't grant the emergency motion because of a time frame issue. Like Jamie's talking about, there had to be 40 days of in session in Lansing for them to make some kind of a decision, and there's just not 40 days until the election. That doesn't mean that we can't still win that and get put on the next election. Now, this is why we're still optimistic about our court chances, but we have to move forward too with the new petition. We can't just sit back and do nothing. We must attack on two fronts.
I agree. So we got two fists instead of one this time, and the fists that we have seem to be pretty solid. Again, I guess my bigger concern is, does big money come in and change what we're trying to do, because it's the only pathway we've got to get it done? It's kind of like what they did in the legislature. Hey, you guys, you know what? I guess because we have to do this now, we don't have really any other choice but to do this. Here's how we're going to do it. Aren't we setting the stage for that? I mean, don't we have to accept that we might need to modify and change our position because somebody with deeper pockets said, hey, here's the money. If you want to do it, here's what we need in there. You guys aren't going to like this, but it needs to be in there.
Yeah, well, we would be open to that, but it depends on the details. Again, we're sticking to the core principles. MiLegalize in its own right is a political force. We affected a lot of, we spurred on a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. The corruption that we saw develop in front of our face was a result of people being concerned about what we were doing.
Well, I think you guys were certainly successful in lifting the skirt to at least show everybody what's going on underneath there, because there's a lot of hanky-panky going on underneath them skirts. It wasn't just Gamera and Courser, I'll tell you that.
No, a lot more.
Smoke and mirrors itself, a little affair in the legislature, that's like nothing compared to the shit that those guys pull off on a regular basis. That was purely a distraction.
Yeah, well, it was a convenient one, wasn't it? Hey, blaming it all. Yeah. You guys are the scapegoats. Slaughter them. We're over here.
Yep.
All right. So, hey, I'm going to call them like I see them. I'm not going to coat it in sugar and candy. It's ridiculous.
Hey, what's the deal with that guy who was asking you for your credit card number? That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty amusing.
So there's guys that. Oh, who did I lose?
Oh, not me. I'm still here.
I lost Jamie. I'll have to get Jamie back.
Right. He'll realize it in a minute.
Hang on, I gotta take him off. Hang on. All right. I gotta reach over and press a button to get him out. He'll probably call back.
It's so much nicer with just you and I anyway, Steve,
Conversation got less ugly. Is that what you're saying?
No, I love Jamie.
I know. Well, Jamie kicks with both boots, though, so you got to kick him back.
Yeah, well, he better not kick me. He will find out.
Hang on. Yeah, Jamie, hang on. Let me see if we can. Jamie's like, I'm off. See, if I call him back on the iPhone, I can put him on the air, but he would never hear you. So let me see what we can do here.
Okay, and I can talk shit about him. He won't even know.
He's clueless. Can't hear a thing. I'm off. All right, hold on. Jamie, I got to text him back. He probably thinks I hung up on him because he asked a sensitive question.
What was the sensitive question? I missed.
Hey, what was that guy trying to do with your credit card?
Oh, yeah, that I heard. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious.
All right, so, I got to set the suspense stage because I want to answer that question, but I don't want to do it until Jamie calls back, and it looks like we're running up seconds before the break. So, I guess for the time we got left, What do you think the future looks like? Is the board going to stay the same? Is it going to change, Deb? Is it going to stay the same? Are we going to incorporate some other blood in here, some extra muscle?
Well, this is what we're going to do. Is we've spoken to all. There's a core of the board that's done a lot of work, and there's a few board members that were busy, had personal things on, whatever. We give everybody on the board the chance. If they want to stay on the board, that's fine. We're going to have an advisory board. If they'd rather be on the advisory board, they can move down to that, because we're going to demand a lot from the board members this time. It's not going to be any, sitting back. If you're going to be on the board, you're going to be there. You're going to be working your ass off to make this happen.
Right.
We're going to add.
There need to be some prescribed duties, like, hey, did you do your side work today? Because you can't get off your shift until your side work's done.
Exactly, Steve. And we're going to form that advisory board, and we went through a list of about 25 names on the advisory board already. We'll add people onto that, and then we'll vet them from there, and then probably most definitely, some of the people who eventually moved up into real board positions. So we're trying to expand. We want everybody to get involved.
Hold on. Hey, are you there? Hello? Are you there? Can you hear me? Hold on. Okay. Jamie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, hold on.
I must have offended everybody.
Hold on. I don't know if there's anybody on this other line. Is there anybody on the other line? It might have been you, Jamie. Yeah, hang on a second. I'm going to drop this line.
Okay.
Sorry, Deb, we got you back.
Okay, I'm here.
So we're about to hit the break. So I'll answer the question for you. But we got to do it after the break, Jamie. The whole thing about the
Nice.
So Deb was explaining before you called back. Go ahead and finish it. We got like 20 seconds.
Yeah, you were asking if we were going to have new board members. I said we're going to stick with the core group. We're going to start a advisory board. We've got 25 names of people we're talking about putting on that. We'll see how people, react. We want people on the board who are going to come and work and work and work. So some of those people from the advisory board will end up on the board of directors. No specific names for you right now, but we have a big list. That's all I have to say. And that, we're going to expand, and we're all inclusive anyway.
And we got to do work. Board members got work.
We have to work. We have to work, not just a bunch of lip service or people, patting each other on the back. We want people who want to come out and work. And there's a lot of work, not just signatures.
All right.
There's fundraising, there's events, all kinds of things we have to get together.
All right, Jamie, and hang on for a second here. Here goes the music. See what I mean? Hold on, you guys. We gotta go to break. We'll come back on the other side. I'll answer your question about. You probably can't hear me. I don't know. I'm taking you off. Hang on. So when we come back from the break, we'll answer your question about what the hell was this thing about the credit card, because that is kind of weird. I guess I better explain it. I got some explaining to do, Lucy. And we'll talk more about what's coming up for the future of cannabis in Michigan and some federal news as well in the mix. Stand by.
You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp well drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet. With superior taste, smell, and nutrition, we hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of hemp well drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
Attention. Get ready to write down a very important number.
Michael does not know how to fail. Second place is loser.
If you have a medical marijuana case and need legal representation, call the best, attorney Michael Comorn.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll-free to attorney Michael Comorn. 800-656-3557. Write it down, 800-656-3557.
Michael Comorn gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Comorn. Vigorous criminal defense.
Ram trucks are reaching new heights when it comes to capability and efficiency. The Ram Heavy Duty is the most capable full-size pickup on the road today. And the Ram 1500 is the most fuel-efficient full-size pickup ever. So what does that mean? It means Ram trucks are built for the long haul. Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call, speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki.
Sacred Elements.
Raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Dordt Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570.
Play-Doh Compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience, bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Dordt Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
My name is Kubo.
When people say Kubo, they're talking about the best animated movie of the year.
Whoa. Show off.
Kubo is captivating.
You got my attention.
Kubo is charming.
Don't even.
Grumpy monkey.
Kubo is an unforgettable adventure that will delight fans of all ages.
Like me?
Yes!
Oh boy.
Kubo, in theaters and Real D3D, rated PG.
It's the Full Melt radio show.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow.
All right, shout out to my friends at Sweet Stone Candy. My friend Claude Card there said that he went and saw that Kubo movie, and it was right on pace. Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, maybe 2 big toes up too from Claude Card. All right, so on to bigger and better things. I was telling you before the break, I was queried by our guests, Jamie and Deborah, Deb Young and Jamie Lowell, both board members of MiLegalize, explaining what's been going on here, what we're doing, what we're trying to do, where we're going. That so far we've established that there might be some new modifications with the MiLegalize 2.0. Yes, can we agree on that?
Could be.
Okay, and
we're going to keep the core principles in place. Be open to working with people. I mean, there's interest in 2018. It's been expressed by national organizations and by other groups in Michigan. And, of course, we don't want multiple efforts to take place and cancel each other out. So we need to remain flexible to a degree, but we're not going to go past the point where our whole mission gets compromised.
Right. We're not going to pull a Carlton, is what you're saying.
No question.
And then so let me just get to answer your question first about the crazy guy with the guy that was calling the show. So I get periodically, like anybody else does, calls from telemarketers, and some of them are dubious in nature. In other words, most of them, in fact, hide their identity. They don't show you the number they're calling from. They're calling from some place that you can't identify. If you try to call back the number, it doesn't exist. I think that should be a federal crime, by the way. And that because it makes people easy to disguise. It's like being forced to answer the door with somebody with a costume on. Like you don't even know who's at the door. They got a mask.
Oh, like that's uncommon for you.
Oh, bum. Jamie gets out the bum ching. He gets the drum set out. Some percussion from Jamie Lowell. So no, I mean, you get what I'm saying though. So I will get calls, and so sometimes I can identify the companies that are calling by the spiel that they give. Or sometimes the pre-recording that happens, because a lot of times you're auto-dialed, and then if you don't push anything, you get passed on to some sales rep. And so these guys are nothing more than thieves in a foreign land, and they're calling to try and rip people off by getting you to expose your credit card numbers over the phone. So they call and they tell you they're from Card Member Services, which is a company that doesn't exist. They'll try to tell you that they are a company that exists, but there is no company like that. And they try and pretend like they're the ones that are sending you your statement, but I don't even have a credit card. I don't get a statement. So they'll call up and make these claims, and then they'll want you to give you, they want to lower your interest rate. We want to see if you qualify for a lower interest rate. There are some programs being offered now that weren't available before. But so here's what's your account number? We need your credit card number. Well, first off, a credit card number and an account number are two different things. But they want your account. You want your credit card number. So I started because I wasn't recording at the time, but I decided that I wanted to record them while we were doing this. So I recorded them because we were in the middle of show prep, and I got a call from one of these guys, and I immediately knew that this is what was going on. And I've done this to like 5 or 6 of those guys. I'll string them out for like a half an hour, like I'm going to give them my card number, and then I'll say, well, really, aren't you just trying to steal from me? You're just trying to rip off my card number. And then they'll start swearing at you and calling you names and doing all this stuff. And so I just thought I would record it and play it back, which is what we did. But you've never had one of these people try and call in, because I get another one too. I get a call from it's a robocall, and so it's also from a foreign land somewhere, because if you call the number back, it doesn't work. But it tells you to call another number because the IRS, they claim to be the IRS, and they're filing this is your last chance to pay up, or we're going to take you to court.
So what you're saying is that you do not want the FBI to get near your hard drive.
Oh no! As long as they come with their nightsticks, I don't care. I like a man in uniform is what I'm saying. No, not necessarily that one.
I think you visited a few sites that makes you prone to getting phone calls like that.
No. Oh, see, we've gone right into the gutter. We got one foreign guy on the phone and right into the gutter. So I just wanted to explain because, that promo, because I get pretty nasty with that guy about the foreign thing, and I don't mind.
That was funny.
You get to suck my fucking American dick, you foreign miserable piece of shit. Oh, you piece of shit, he says. And then he hangs up on me. Bleep. I just waste their time because, if they're going to steal your money, I'm at least going to make it hard for them. And they keep calling back like they forgot that they ever called me. Idiots.
Hey, so I got like a couple more minutes, man, if we want to...
Yeah, we only got a couple minutes left in the break anyways. Deb, did you want to add to this? And Jamie, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we're going to need some backing, and we're going to need some ideas, and we're going to need some hard work. info@MiLegalize.com is one way of contacting the organization and getting involved. I have a Facebook page, as does Deborah, as does MiLegalize, and on Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Just get with us, and we're really going to try to have the inclusion of all those who are going to bring something to the table. So that's where we are right now, and we'll be announcing the locations where we'll have these meetings throughout the state.
So it's going to be multiple. So it's going to be multiple meetings, not just one big gathering.
We're going to go all over the state.
So it's
as we did before.
But
we'll do so now. In a very timely manner and before the campaign starts.
So it's MiLegalize State Tour 2016 2.0.
Yeah, except for we are calling it MiLegalize 2018 or MI 2018.
Oh, it's MI 2018 now.
Yeah.
I like it. Deb, did you want to add anything?
She split the scene.
Deb, are you there? Can you hear us? Hello, Deb. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, Deb. I didn't have your button pushed. I pushed your button. You can talk now.
I've been talking for 10 minutes and you didn't hear a word I said. I can hear you, though.
Oops.
Yeah, no, I was just going to relate back to this guy calling me that one of my neighbors, an elderly neighbor, got took by one of these guys couple months ago for $7,000. You know, he's a real old guy. He didn't know. He went and mailed his money to these guys, calling looking for money. They claimed they were the IRS and thought he was going to jail. It's a shame because some people are just not capable of understanding that it's a scam, and he got scammed.
You know, it's amazing that they can do this kind of home invasion from afar, because that's really what it is. They're being tricksters and tricking people out of their money. It's gypsies in disguise. They're digital gypsies is what they are.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But anyways, did you want to add to the MiLegalize speech anything more that you wanted to put in about this?
Just like I said, like Jamie just said, you know, we renamed ourselves MI 2018. Although, you know, our core issues are going to be the same, and of course everybody knows what those are. That's legalizing recreational marijuana for adults 21 and over, and clearing up all the ambiguous parts of the discussion that everybody's always getting bogged down. It's, you know, we're going to address everything, and we're going to get the job done. And we're looking for everybody to come out. We need volunteers. We need people to donate money. We need all kinds of things. If you have any type of talent at all, we can make it happen. Come on out, and we'll give you something to do for sure.
I think there are a lot of people, Deb, that we could get involved and appeal to. Do you think we're going to have a problem getting the same people to support MiLegalize, though, being that there were such hopes and dreams, and some people feel as if they've gone awash?
I don't think so at all. I don't think that anybody feels we've gone awash, except for the only negative I heard was really from Tim Beck and a couple of people from Abrogate who have been, you know, negative the whole time. All our volunteers, all the response that I've seen on social media, everything has been positive. Everybody's ready to go again. Everybody's excited. Everybody says we're going to get this done this time in 180 days. I really don't think that's an issue, and I think that our donors, our backers will all be there. I know our volunteers are all challenging each other already. How many figs are you going to get? How many figs are you going to get? This is going to be an epic campaign, Steve. Epic.
Well, I think also
one of the reasons we're doing it again is because of this kind of feedback and this kind of resolve from all the people who have been involved.
Well, I think also there's a principle in play is that, you know, so one of the things we do in the world of dog training is just exercise the hell out of the dog until he's tired, right? And then he just is easy to get to submit. And I'm just saying, if MiLegalize or MI 2018 or whatever version we are when we pop back up as a punching clown, you can only hit the punching clown so many times before you tire and have to walk away.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot of steam left in the vents, and I think this only creates more steam. This is what the actions they're taking and the moves they're making are not only, in my opinion, going to make some wealthy people much less wealthy after they buy into this program of nonsense, because if you look at it from a business proposition, it has no legs. There's no way that the people in this state are going to pay the inflated prices necessary to generate the kinds of licensing that and the multiple levels of it necessary to sustain one product from its generation to its sale. That this is not going to fail on its face just from its simple proposal.
Yeah. People are thinking this is merely a $5,000 buy-in to be a grow operation or something, which is ridiculous. It's going to cost 10 times that. And to set up a big grow, I mean, I know that even my 72 plant grow cost me, $15,000 to equip. Think of what you need for 1,500 plants, and then to keep your grow going until you can harvest and sell, and all the crazy things that can happen in between. Only really wealthy people are going to be able to afford to do this.
Well, and all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, those wealthy people are going to be fleeced of their cash and go home broke because nobody is going to pay the inflated prices that are necessary to generate these kinds of multiple licensing.
Chuck Green wrote a piece that was really great, and it was put out just on his own accord, and then it was published in the Compassion Chronicles thereafter. And he points out how the fiscal reports demonstrate how it's not sustainable. But that's okay right now in this phase one, in my opinion, for the people who are really putting this in place. This is the infrastructure for taking advantage of a much larger market in the near future.
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't know, that there are a lot of people who are going to win and a lot of people who are going to lose, and I think the moves that are being made are not necessarily indicating the winners that are going to come out. In other words, in my opinion,
a small group of people are going to win. Not a lot of people.
Well, and I think that
group of people are going to win.
I think in the long run, it's inevitable, just based on the business proposal of this multiple licensing structure. The inflated prices necessary to generate that licensing and pay for it and still generate a profit and make it worth doing any of this hoop jumping is going to be astronomical, and this is going to fail.
Yeah. And those people with resources who don't get in probably want to help us out.
Well,
right. And it forces everybody else onto the black market. Exactly what the caregivers don't want. We don't want to be on the black market.
And that's exactly what police want, is where they want you on the black market, where they can stamp you out and you could never get a license.
That's right.
It's crazy that civilians, we're all civilians here, both the police and the people. We're all civilians. We all live in these neighborhoods.
Jamie was a cop. What's your cop, Jamie? Didn't I hear that?
What's that?
Jamie's a cop. Did you hear that?
Jamie's a cop?
Yeah, you said we were civilians. I don't know. I saw Jamie's new haircut. I've decided he's a cop.
No, I'm saying both police and people in the community we're all civilians. None of these guys are anything farther from another than by badge. And so what I'm saying is we're all of the same American blood. I can't believe that we would make such warfare with each other.
Yeah.
I really can't believe it.
It's about money, and money is a very dangerous thing, Steve.
It is. Well, and it's cartelling, but the cartelling has gone from the people in the Al Capones of the world to the Bill Shooties of the world.
Yeah.
It's just horrible. So I thank you guys for participating in the conversation and helping us to understand what this is going on, or how it's going. Looking forward into the future, you're saying the tour is coming to a city near you. Yes, you can trust it, no matter where in the state you live. That the wagon train is coming to a town near you where you can, in a relatively short distance, go and participate and have your say in this and maybe support and rally troops. Because we're gonna need those grassroots, man. We're gonna need every single one of you guys in little small town America, small town Michigan. Those little outlying communities matter just as much, if not more, than the ones in the big cities.
Oh, yes, definitely.
The outreach is important. So let me express to you both my gratitude and also my thanks and wish to help. If there's anything that I can do to assist your group as a participant in any way, as a volunteer, as an advertiser, as a purveyor of information, however I can get it out, however I can help.
All of the above.
I will be here standing in full faith for you because you guys speak the language that I speak.
Awesome. Like I say, all of the above. We're looking for everything that you can do and more. And everybody, I'm saying that to everybody. Just give us a year. We need like a year, and not even a year.
Awesome.
We're going to kick up in the spring. Give us that 180 days and come out and bust ass and get this done.
Well, they've underestimated us before, and I think they're going to double underestimate us now that we seem to have lost this little battle. Although I think they must know somewhere in their heart of hearts they are going to lose this war.
They will lose it. They are going to lose. They're going down. So they're trying to grab what they can now. That's why they pushed this medical through so fast.
Oh, on a whim. It went right from marijuana is federally illegal and we're not going to do anything to change that stance and we're going to still take you to jail and take all your crap. Right from that to, hey, guess what? If you got enough money and no criminal record, you can grow dope for a living.
And everybody can dab. Let's go.
It's dabs are us. Michigan dabs are us.
I mean, since we're talking about this, let me chime in how sinister this is. We all like 4210. We know that you can say now the children don't have to be worried about taking their medicine in the form that works for them and this type of thing. And of course we like that, just like we don't like kittens to be burned and old ladies to not get helped out across the road or whatever. But that's what that's about. They put some stuff in there that you can't deny is good. But it's not. But even that, as good as it is, it's not worth it for the rest of the package to come along with it.
Well, I mean, I will never. I guess in my heart of hearts, I will never degrade anything that is moving forward marijuana law. But in this instance, I have to say that you're right, Jamie. This has been stacked with just as much poison as it has been candy.
Incrementalism is good, but not when it leads in the direction as we all believe this is leading. I mean, as I always say, the first red flag should be that it was passed by this particular legislature.
Well, and not only this legislature, but that it was basically rewritten. Carlton was tapped on the shoulder, and it had everything rewritten in favor of the police.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you know, that the board that is going to govern this this issue, the one that is going to write all the rules and emergency rules and has omnipotent power under this new law to generate rules to implement this law, they can do however they want. They could simply administratively put all police on that board, or all police relatives or police friends on that board.
That's the scary part. Only one patient / caregiver. All the rest are going to be cops or politicians. What the hell do you think they're going to do?
Well,
anything they want.
I'm just going to say that they're likely to put a rule in place that says no caregivers can ever. If you're a former caregiver under the MMA, you cannot get a license.
They give recommendations. So if they give a recommendation that makes sense, the department says, "Oh no, screw you." They give a shitty recommendation, the department will be right there to adopt it. That's how that is set up.
It's just, what I'm saying is that the deck is stacked against the people that are actually participating in the community. The community members have no say or word in this, and it's actually designed to replace them, and it's designed to make them targets by making new felonies and waging a war of attrition on existing dispensaries and caregivers.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a clause in there that allows them the opportunity to make any type of what they call an emergency decision that they want, which means they can change this, they can do whatever they want with this.
Right.
So what's true today might not be true next week. That's
well,
scary.
They could do stuff before the panels are even made.
Yeah, exactly. So this is not, what people are arguing, saying it's not armored transport. It could very well turn into that. We don't know, because they basically gave them a slate and said, do whatever you want. Call it emergency, do whatever you want. You can call it any way you want. Make your money.
This essentially is your issue. This is your deck of cards. You can deal them however you please.
Yeah.
So you could change the rules of the card game at any time. You know what? Three of a kind doesn't beat a pair anymore.
No. And they connect.
And there's no real recourse either. They do like a weird pattern or obvious favoritism or any type of thing that is discriminatory. There's no recourse.
Right, because they don't even have to adhere to the board rules that all other boards have to adhere to, do they?
That hasn't passed yet, but yes, that's coming up. That's Senate Bill 1014. That's in committee in the House, but yes.
It's big face palm moment, and also a rally cry to the troops to MI 2018. Thank you, Deb and Jamie, for coming on tonight.
Thank you, man.
Talk
to you soon.
We will see you later. So we got to keep supporting MiLegalize, and we got a lot of stuff to do yet. A lot more going on, even though we've only got 10 minutes left in tonight's show. And what a strange show it's been. Odd enough. We'll be right back with more news and information. I'll run down some national news, and we'll dig a little bit more into, I think, something of some lighter fare. Next on the Full Melt program, don't you go away!
You're getting the Full Melt.
And now, a Planet Green Trees flashback.
Wouldn't the medibles have to be tested too? Is that also part of the caregiver?
Nope, that's only for the.
Will they have to be tested?
It's only for the dispensaries.
But there is a new restriction with respect to medibles in that patients can only make them for themselves.
Right.
And they've created new crimes for transfers outside of the caregiver.
They're very specific. But, I mean, it's not.
That's what we just talked about.
It's no more harsh than the manufacturer.
No. They can be transferred. The medibles can be transferred from the registered caregiver to the registered patient, but not beyond. And that's how they would expect you to interpret the law.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees show, Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker.
Promotional consideration provided by NoSmell.com, pioneering the storage market for cannabis users. The NoSmell patented bag technology offers users 100% smell-proof detection from even the most sophisticated of noses. NoSmell.com, so nobody knows. When placing your order for a NoSmell bag, make sure to use discount code FULLMELT and take 10% off the entire order. Learn more about NoSmell technology at NoSmell.com.
Don't stop chasing, wander while the day brings up. Here comes the sunrise, and we'll see the sunset. Coasting by the ocean with some music, turn it up. We got the whole night, 360 days of this. All I'm talking why the memories will make you right. Always make you smile.
Happiness is calling at sandiego.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you. Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience, bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
My moderate to severe chronic plaque psoriasis made a simple trip to the grocery store anything but simple. So I had an important conversation with my dermatologist about Humira. He explained that Humira works inside my body to target and help block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to my symptoms. In clinical trials, most adults taking Humira were clear or almost clear, and many saw 75% and even 90% clearance in just 4 months.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask about Humira, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists. Clearer skin is possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show. The moral of today's story, was it a story? I think it was a news story. Is don't let your hopes get dashed. Don't give up on your dreams. That you can fight back and have major effect. It's only those who lose that give up. Part of winning sometimes is losing. I can tell you that nobody ever sat out to invent something and just came up with it and built it, and there it was in all its glory. And that's how you saw it. When light became something that people had in their homes and on the streets, and was replaced by, instead of replacing those gas lamps or the oil lamps of the day, the light bulb that you saw go on, that's all you saw. Edison made the light bulb, and there's some electricity now available through Edison's lines, and you got a light. That's what you saw. But you didn't see what Edison went through and the number of failures, the number of missteps that took place in the trial and error process of invention. And all I've got to say is that if you're going to do something that has major effect, like political policy, big political policy, changing criminal law, Not just a little piece of one, not just a little part, but a major, like a chapter and not just a verse. That it's going to be painful for some people. In fact, it's likely to be painful for almost everybody that has some connection there on both sides of the fence. But none of this happens at the blink of an eye. History will look back at this just like it looks back now on alcohol prohibition changing. Hey, one year they changed it. It wasn't prohibited anymore. And now, now we drink at the bar. It's not at the speakeasy no more. We're not getting blind bathtub gin. Now we can just go to the corner store and buy it at the state lowest minimum price. And, if I'm going to go drinking myself into oblivion, nobody gets to come and tell me I can't do that. I don't. I choose not to do that. I don't think that's responsible. But I can choose to be responsible as an adult using cannabis and do, as a responsible adult, use cannabis. For whatever reason I so choose to use it. And if I want to make sure that this policy doesn't make me somehow eligible for a trip overnight or longer in jail, then you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and do something. Like, right? You can't just ride the train of everybody else's coattails. You must roll up your sleeves if you want to have any respect at the end of the day and say that you were here and you changed this law, this major chapter in history, that you rolled up your sleeves and did something about it. And if you scuff your elbows on the concrete because you fell over a couple of times on the way, you have to expect that that is part of the cost of doing business in this space. That you have to get back up and walk further down the road and get something done. March to your goal. Get past that finish line. Nothing should stop you from that attempt. Except handcuffs in jail. Which is what's in your future if you have anything to do with this subject and many other subjects for that matter. If you let these fools get away with this nonsense. I said I was going to talk about lighter fare. Can I do that? Can you be a little lighter, Steve? It's hard to be light in the face of this kind of oppression, in the face of this kind of corruption. I'm not kidding when I say things like, comparing our state government and its facilities akin to, relation to, family of the mafia or any other corrupt organization drunk on the power of money. It doesn't matter if you're a cartel in Colombia or if you're a bootlegger of tobacco, because those guys are around. They jacked up the price of cigarettes with taxes so much they actually created a big black market. Oh, and more thieves. A lot more thieves because the price, anytime you inflate the price on something and its availability is still there, you're going to have some people steal it. It's worth stealing now. It's hard. Nothing is easy about this. Nothing. For almost anybody, this is a lot of work. And it's going to create more work. The work isn't going to end. But at the end of the day, if you want your freedom, you've got to fight for it. And in this country, they want to make it so that you're just tired of trying to fight if you've ever decided that you wanted to do any of it at all. As most people don't. Most people just take what they get. Whatever you give them, that's what they get. They're like sheep. You will never find me in that group. If anything, I'll be herding sheep. I'll be the dog dancing around the sheep. No, you go this way. Oh, no, not you. You over there. Oh, no, now everybody goes that way. Now go that way. Nope, I changed my mind. Go back in there. All right, back in the pen. Oh, I'm tired of you. All back in the pen. All right, closing the gate. I mean, do you want to be one of the sheep? I don't. And I'm not. I won't be a sheep. If you're going to be a sheep, there are only two fates for you: being shorn or being dinner. Those are the two fates. Sheep equals shearing or consumption. And I don't want to be fleeced, literally. See what I did there? A little double entendre. A little triple loop through the word game. I got triple word score on that one. You either be fleeced or be eaten. I don't want to be either one of those. And they're going to try and do both. They'll first fleece you and then eat you. They want their cake and eat it too. That's what these legislators did. All right. So off the soapbox we go. Done with the soapbox for the day. Got to dip into the news a bit because I promised you I'd do it. And even though I'm extending the link to the show to make it happen, I have to do it. Something that must happen. I told you I'd run down some national news. Is marijuana a performance-enhancing drug for athletes? They're actually, in the Dallas Morning News, asking this question today. What we do know is some athletes can use cannabis and says it helps relieve their problems. So if you're picturing yourself in college taking bong hits, sinking into the sofa, and missing deadlines, you're probably wondering why highly competitive pro athletes would use cannabis. Times have changed, says the article by Seema Yasmin. This is again in the DallasNews.com by the staff writer there, published today. Alongside protein powders and workout supplements, some athletes and their trainers are smoking, eating, and anointing themselves in cannabis oils, joints, and edibles. And nowadays, weed connoisseurs discuss cannabis strains the way that sommeliers compare grape varieties. Key components of cannabis are THC, giving the users the feeling of being high, and CBD, which, both together are not known for, well, at least CBD is not known for being psychoactive, but are likely to have anti-inflammatory effects to alleviate pain and nausea. Now, I say that CBD isn't my favorite nausea reliever. I actually believe that the THC component in cannabis, whole plant cannabis, is a better nausea control agent. In fact, sometimes CBD by itself can tend to make me a little nauseous by itself if it's not tempered in some way. And this is, again, why cannabis as a plant doesn't fit the model the DEA wants to put it through, the FDA wants to put it through, this clinical trial business. Because the components of it can't be broken down and expect to have the same effect or any stability. They're all anchored by other components. So this is what's inside the recipe for cannabis from a chemical standpoint. Everything is linked together and anchored down by something else. So if you take the anchor off of one thing, it lets it rise up into a different place. It doesn't do the same thing anymore. At least not the way it did before. Its properties haven't been changed. Its likely output has been changed by its linkage. When you take the linkage away and try and test one thing for something, you get no stability because all of the stability in the structure is connected through the linkage. The thing about cannabis and sports medicine is almost the same thing as the whole subject of prohibition in the first place from this standpoint. If you're somebody in sports medicine now, you have to know that almost all the people, especially if you're treating something related to pain, and almost all injuries are painful. Almost all injuries, in fact, I think you could say all injuries are associated and accompanied by inflammation, pain, swelling. Things that are immediately relieved by whole plant cannabis medicine. Suddenly you can sleep where the injury was keeping you awake before. And it's not because it knocked you out so to speak. It unplugged your awakeness, is what it did. Rather than clobbering you, rather than overcoming your consciousness with sleep, it just unplugged you. It let you rest in a natural state. And it was able to accomplish this by relieving some pain associated with the inflammation of an injury. And so you have to know, as somebody in sports medicine, that most of your patients either want to use or have used cannabis to control their injuries and pain. These are young people in America who are completely familiar with cannabis, both on the streets and as a medicine for over the last 20 years or so, at least from the California perspective. And so the larger question I was posing is how this is a lot like prohibition in the first place. Those people in sports, professional sports, in this country and abroad are using cannabis, and the teams and the associations and the leagues and the unions responsible for propping up mostly nonprofit organizations in sports, even though they profit tremendously, are simply turning a blind eye to its use. With prohibition, it's not so much a blind eye. I mean, it's a blind eye by making the black market, by saying, hey, none of this is legal, so it all disappears. It all goes away from public view. It's all being done behind the dumpster instead of, in the parking lot or at somebody's kitchen table or in a shop somewhere like the rest of commerce is done. So they're much akin in this way. They're much family like this. That it's going on in a black marketplace, right? If you're using cannabis, it's against all sports league rules. If it's not considered a performance-enhancing drug, it's considered a banned substance. But everybody's using it. They're not going to make any rules or have any enforcement that has teeth enough to make sure that this isn't what's going on by any or all players. Any or all players. Because if they did, the team captains, the team managers, the ones that own the teams, the team owners, have all made admission to the idea that if they did such a thing, they wouldn't be able to field a team and the league would collapse on its own weight by proposition. And so effectively what they've said, and they won't admit this in open questioning by reporters, they'll only tell you candidly off the record, that they can't field a team without allowing members of the team to, during play, after play, during the season, if you're cannabis infused, if you've had some cannabis before you came to practice, if you've had some after practice, maybe if you ate a couple gummies while you were practicing or playing, you're not going to get caught for it. As long as you're quiet and careful and not obvious, nobody's going to say boo because you're not going to get tested in a way that's going to impact your career or your record, or make admission that you or any of your other teammates aren't using cannabis. So while the regular black market prohibition of continental USA and abroad is to take those people, identify them, and lock them up away from society, or take their rights away, or take their money, or do something to punish them. That's how they treat this. That's what the go-to answer is about that subject, there, in that theater. But in the theater of sports, in the name of making more money, because remember, it's always follow the money. Always follow the money. It will always tell you the truth. It will never, ever lie to you. That money is truth serum. The money being made cannot be risked. That revenue stream cannot be threatened by the fact that a little bit of cannabis got in the way. because it will disappear if we enforce this rule. And so what they basically admitted is that they're lying to the public about their position about cannabis use by sports team members in their league. They're just outright lying to you because it's the Disney thing to do. If you want sports to be a family-friendly subject, you can't explain to Johnny that his hero that just won the Super Bowl or just made that amazing play on the basketball court, like in slow motion, it's on a Wheaties box. You can't explain to that kid that they took some pot sometime, either before or after, or maybe, in celebration of the play you've got on the box. Because they're not going to just use cannabis for their said medical injury. They're going to then have access and purpose to use it for anything they so choose. And they do. You can't say that these people don't use this substance in a celebratory way. I can tell you that is just fairy tale nonsense. Just like Cinderella in the Disney play. Just like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's all fairy tale. Dumbo, the whole 9 yards. This is scripted. This is written. This is entertainment. Fairy tale nonsense. This business about, you know what? We cannot condone the use of cannabis in our league. Isn't that just Disney box packaging? Isn't that just family-friendly packaging, just according to the old prohibition point of view? Doesn't it need to change and quickly? Don't some people need to come clean? A little splaining? A little, now that everything's changing and all. We sat and thought about this, and we had to come clean. Now, it doesn't mean we're getting clean. It just means we're coming clean about being dirty. That yes, we were lying to you before because, we didn't want to lose your sports dollars. We didn't want to lose. I mean, we're training future NFL seat attenders, paying, money extraction. We need that. We need those people, butts in seats. We're training the youth of America to occupy that position in the future for our revenue streams. That's what they're doing. And if we can't get it because some pot got in the way, we're going to be furious. So we're going to pretend that the pot's not there. We know it's there. We know it's got to be there. But we're just going to tell everybody that it's not there. We're not going to just lie by omission. We're not going to tell a white lie by just not telling you about it. We're going to bold-face lie. We're going to actually make a claim that is not true to deceive you. Why? Because they want your dollar. That's why. Because the game of sports would be threatened if they let loose this, if they pulled that finger out of the dike, the whole damn dike's going to collapse, and here comes the thundering waterfall. Watch out, houses below. That's what they think. And they're actually fools. Because if they looked at the statistics, they would definitely make news, but at least Americans could go to football and baseball and basketball games and hockey games and other games across this country and expect that what you're going to see is indeed what is happening. That you arrived at this position of either win or loss by the truth and not by some fairy tale. So this idea with this article published in the Dallas Morning News this morning, is marijuana a performance-enhancing drug for athletes, is summed up. Data, it says, is limited because cannabis is a Schedule I drug, of course. So while it's legal for recreational use in 4 states and for medical use in 25 states and Washington, D.C., it's hard for scientists to get cannabis into the lab to study. And I'm trying to tell you that once they get it there, they can't figure it out because it doesn't fit the square peg that they're trying to fit in that round hole. That square peg doesn't fit in the round hole, and they just can't put the optics on to see it. The Drug Enforcement Administration considers cannabis to have no currently accepted medical use. It groups cannabis in with heroin and LSD. Of course. What we do know is some athletes use cannabis. I say a lot of them. And say it helps relieve anxiety and facilitates focus. It says, let's start back in 98 when Canadian snowboarder Ross Rebagliati, it says Rebagliati, but it's pronounced differently, I know. Nearly lost his Olympic medal, and we've had him on this show before, Ross. Nearly lost his Olympic medal after testing positive for cannabis. This was in 98. And he appealed and won back his medal because at the time, cannabis was not on the banned substance list. See, in sports, cannabis is on the banned substance list. You're not allowed to use cannabis. It's a ridiculous rule. It's a ridiculous rule. You're allowed to take those pain medicines. How are those not somehow helping you with your performance? Answer me that. Riddle me that. It was added to the list a year later, but not because it was known to give athletes an unfair advantage. More so, it was added to the banned list because cannabis is illegal in much of the world. Rebagliati is from Canada, which is one of the most foremost nations to allow medical cannabis use in 2001. He's taking advantage of that ruling and has set up shop as a dispenser of medical marijuana. I would be too. If I was Darren McCarty, I'd be doing the same thing right now. For me, whether you're skiing or snowboarding or riding a road bike or working out at the gym, marijuana use puts you in the moment. You get in a zone where you can give it 110%, he says on his website. Cannabis is banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency, which oversees drug testing for the Olympics. It's also banned by the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency and the National Collegiate Athletic Association. But the World Anti-Doping Agency recently changed the rules regarding how much cannabis was allowed in an athlete's blood. Did you know that? The threshold was raised from 15 nanograms to 150 nanograms per milliliter, which gives athletes smoking during the games, which gives an indication the agency is concerned about athletes smoking during the games, but not in the weeks prior to the competition. So what they're saying is, we're not going to ban the substance. We're going to limit its use according to this percentage scale, this ratio. We're going to limit the ratio to an amount that lets us know that you're not using cannabis during your performance when we're looking at it, when it counts, when you're in these races. But we're going to allow your blood level to exist with a substance that was previously banned. And kind of turned a blind eye to its use prior to coming here and performing. We can tell, based on those nanograms, if you're high or if you're not high, and about how long ago it was when you were using cannabis. And this is the standard that we've changed it to. But when Rebagliati first lost his Olympic medal, his blood concentration of cannabis was 17.8 nanograms per milliliter. He said the result was from secondhand smoke, a statement he stands by today. He must be standing really close to somebody for a 17.8. Really close, like shotgun close, perhaps? He was quick to defend. Hey, shotgun me that hit. Shotgun me that hit. Secondhand smoke, man. Secondhand smoke, I say. Secondhand. He was quick to defend Olympic champion Michael Phelps in 2009 when a photo of 23-year-old Phelps taking a bong hit went viral. Phelps isn't the only Olympic athlete who has admitted to a history of cannabis use. Some have been banned for using it. In 2012, American Jukota Nicholas Del Popolo, good Lord, was banned from competing in the London Olympics after testing positive for cannabis. Story goes on. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It's probably twice as long as the part that I've covered here on the show and made commentary upon. But check it out in the Dallas Morning News. Because the question is marijuana a performance-enhancing drug for athletes? And the answer says the World Anti-Doping Authority, yes. It is performance-enhancing, and therefore we won't allow its use, but we won't ban it. If you come high, expect to get ejected. Or ejected. That's what they say. What else? Real quick. Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump on marijuana. What are both candidates' stances on legalizing? Can we sum that up for you from International Business Times? I'll skip down to the meat of it because we are so out of time. And Daddy's tired. He's rubbing his eyes. He's getting hangry. Needs some cannabis medicine. Looking forward to that after the show. It's sitting right there waiting for me. But I have yet to finish educating you about this. So up until now, we've known that Clinton has just been milquetoast on marijuana. Milquetoast. Safe zone. I'm not really against it, but, don't want to change anything until we do some studying. It's one of those Republican mantras, really. I'm surprised that Hillary would take a Republican thing and change it around for Democratic, political, bureaucratic, mumbo-jumbo crap speak. Because that's what it is. It's a sidestep. It's avoiding the issue. You know what? If I just pretend like we got to study it, let's just look around. Maybe I'll be in office by the time they figure anything out. Goodbye. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. That's what she thought she was going to do about this. But Bernie Sanders didn't let her get away with it. He clipped marijuana onto her high heels like it was a frickin' alligator. And said, you know what? I'm not going to endorse you. I'm going to still fight your position here. I'm going to ask for a recount. I'm going to press my wares unless and until you adopt some of my platform. Modify the Democratic Party platform to include things like cannabis, things like cheaper higher education, better student loan rates, not profiting billions off of students, all these kind of things. All these hard left things, which I'm completely in support of. He clipped those issues, clamped them right on like a bear trap to those high heels. Clickety, click, click, click. And so she pretty much had to change her stance. So now her position is reschedule. Move it to Schedule 2. Let them figure it out because now they can study it. That's her position now. We couldn't study because that's what Hillary, you know what? We can't study it. It's all great to say we can just study it. We need to study it some more. But, the rule says we can't study it. Can you help out with that? Maybe. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we'll take it to 2. There. That way I killed 2 birds with one stone. I get rid of Bernie. He gets off my ass. Get him out of my skirt. And then also, she doesn't wear a skirt. She wears the pantsuit, doesn't she? Get him out of my jumpsuit. And then also we get to be more realistic, and it's a good platform. Yeah, we could do that because it still says the same thing. Not gonna say it's not illegal if you got it floating around and you didn't get it through the doctor, but not gonna take you to jail for it either. But not gonna say that somebody else can't take you to jail. But you can study it now. Yeah, go ahead and study. Study away. By the time you figure it out, I'll be out of office, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. That's her new position. But the thing with Donald Trump is like, hey, you know what? Commerce is commerce. I say, I'm good with the medical marijuana. I'm really against drugs. You know, he's got one of those family drug stories. I saw my family member grow up with drugs and it ruined them, and so I chose never to use drugs. And so I'm against drugs. I'm one of those guys that says I don't like green beans, but I've never tried one. And I'm not going to eat one even if I hold my nose. And I really don't want you to do it either. I don't want you eating green beans either. Because I haven't tried them, and I'm not going to condone that. Because I don't know for sure what green beans are like. But if there's lots of money to be made from green beans, I think we're going to make some money. But only medical money. So I like Chris Christie. Maybe he's my next attorney general. I know he hates the pot. I know all his cop friends love the pot. I got a lot of rich cop friends. Got to be good to the cops. Maybe I'll make him the attorney general. Maybe I'll do that. Wait a minute. He might eat everybody. He also might get naked and dance on the floor like Rob Ford did. Maybe Chris Christie and Rob Ford are too akin. What is my position? Hey, what is my position on marijuana? Can somebody tell me that? What's my position? They're doing the Reagan thing to him. See, the best Republican is obviously a puppet. Because you got Reagan. Oh, we all loved Reagan. You know why? Because he was programmed by all the rich people. He wasn't even a Republican until somebody handed him a bunch of money. Oh, I can act. Sure, I can say that. There's my mark. Where's my lines? My lines. Oh, they're written there. It's already written on the teleprompter. Oh, it's heaven. It's digital now? No guy with a cue card? Really? Clinton has repeatedly stated she wants to move marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2 under the CSA to increase research as well as stop imprisoning marijuana users. When asked in a town hall what she would do with decriminalization, Clinton said that she will do a lot. Oh, that explains it. She's going to do a lot. Did you hear Hillary? Can I play this for you? I want to play this for you, but if it's going to take a long time, I don't want to do it. Let me see if I can play it for you. I got to find it first. I know where it's at, exactly where it's at, but I got to still locate it. It's going to be right there. Here it is. Oh, I don't want to pull up the whole thing. I didn't mix it down? Okay, we'll pull up the whole thing. I can't believe I didn't mix it down. It seems like I thought I did. All right, we'll just pull up the whole thing and let it play. This is Hillary Clinton on a radio interview. I don't know where this was, but this is when she's got the SARS virus or whatever the hell the Zika. She's got the Zika, and she's coughing like crazy. It's just pneumonia. But she's coughing like crazy through the interview, and she's got the hoarse, raspy voice from yelling and screaming, and also probably from coughing and puking. And falling over at the 911 thing, the 9/11 thing. Here's Hillary on the radio interview. Check this out real quick.
That we have to address. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's okay.
Allergy season.
That's a killer.
You all right? How do you guys do it?
You need mouth CPR? You all right?
Did you just try to kiss?
You coughing like you got some medicinal.
Yeah, I need some.
She needs some. Yeah, I need some. She's yeah, I need some. Some medicinal. Oh, there's our drag queen in glory. Cannabis attracting mainstream research analysis. Do you really care about that? I don't know. I got to finish telling you this story about Hillary and Donald. Because she says I have no doubt there are very real benefits for people, Clinton said of marijuana in a town hall meeting in February. Maya Harris, Clinton's policy advisor, says Clinton, quote, will ensure Colorado and other states that have enacted marijuana laws can continue to serve as laboratories of democracy, end quote. Trump has offered a more cautious opinion of marijuana. He stated that medical marijuana is something we should really consider strongly, but legalization should be left up to states. I don't think you're putting, if you're going to say that, you better get Chris Christie up over a very strong barrel and get him to cough out whatever demon is inside of him that makes him want to stomp on people with weed. Just ask our friend, the weed man, Ed Fortune, out there in New Jersey, what he thinks about the state's governor there. Because that Godzilla stomps around there, and if he can find Ed Fortune to stomp on, he will. Not that Ed's ever done anything wrong to, him. Maybe he's been a thorn in his side only because he beat up Ed with his, gang of jackbooted thugs. Oh, Ed's out there protesting with a sign. Can you just go out there? I know he's on public property. I know he's standing in the median across the street, but he's holding up a sign that says Chris Christie is a dick. And so, can you just go beat him up for me and put him in jail and then, let him out after nobody's around anymore. Like after everybody's gone and nobody can see him holding the sign, then you can let him go. That's Chris Christie for you. You're not putting him in charge. You better get a very big barrel and get him to cough out that demon. You better exorcise him somehow. Get the priests over there. Get them doing something. Get the voodoo guys doing a dance around them. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care what tribe or mantra you got to chant. Get him to get it out. And then bottle that bitch and throw it in the ocean somewhere and hope it never gets, lock it inside. What is that thing with the pinhead? The guy with the Pandora's box, the little box that Pinhead got locked in. Put him in there. Whatever's inside of Chris Christie, put it in the Pandora's box. Lock it away so that nobody can rub it and get it out of there again. Throw that in the ocean somewhere. Bury it in some concrete in a building. Wherever Jimmy Hoffa went, put it there. That's what you need to do. His campaign has also implied some reservations about marijuana use during the Republican primary season. In a Trump attack advertisement against Republican candidate Jeb Bush, there is a soundbite of Bush saying, "So 40 years ago I smoked marijuana," which was followed by words on the screen that read, "Are we sure that was only 40 years ago?" Trump has stated that he never touches drugs, alcohol, tobacco, or coffee. Clinton has said she hasn't smoked marijuana and she's so full of shit. Liar, liar, pantsuit on fire is what I got to say about that. So I told you we would get some lighter stuff. We would cover some news, and we did. I should just backtrack and make sure that we hit everything. Cannabis attracting mainstream research analysts. So that is impactful in this way. You're going to get some hardcore facts and stats about pot this coming election cycle. This is going to be hardcore statistics on marijuana like you've never seen before because they're digging out the pros to put it up on the board. The guys who are most skilled at doing that have been called to task to figure out the analyst's view of pot. Go figure. Phoenix officers accused of forcing man to eat marijuana. Oh, good God. See, the jackbooted thugs don't even want to steal your pot anymore and take it from you. They want to force it down your freaking throat. Really? Really? 3 Phoenix Police Department officers have resigned. Oh, you had to go and resign because the union couldn't back you. I just want to vomit chunks. Three Phoenix Police Department officers have resigned and are now involved in a criminal and administrative investigation following allegations that they made a 19-year-old man eat marijuana to avoid going to a jail during a traffic stop. Hey, boy, if you don't want us to take that evidence and charge you, you better eat it now. Eat it all, boy, plastic and all. Get it down your gullet. I don't want to hear from you. Phoenix Police Chief Joe Yanner identified the 3 officers as Richard Pena, Officer McFadden. Oh, great. Officer McFadden and Michael Carnicle. all of whom were probationary employees and had been with the department for less than 1 year. Excuse me. Yonner said termination was inevitable if the officers hadn't chosen to resign on their own. That's what I'm saying. Union can't back you now. Oh, you made a boy eat some pot. What the hell is wrong with you, son? You forced a boy to consume cannabis. They didn't call it cannabis. On the air, gotta go. So he described the September 13th incident as compelling, appalling, and extremely unprofessional during a Thursday press conference at police headquarters in downtown Phoenix. What else could he do? Yonner said Lieutenant Jeff Farrier, who had been notified about the allegations but failed to launch an investigation, was demoted to the position of sergeant. I say he should have been demoted a couple steps below that. He should have been terminated. He condoned illegal activity. He let it persist inside the department. He failed to report. Look, when I worked for CBS, if there was somebody, it could be something as simple as you violated the rules about sexual harassment. Hey, you were hitting on the wrong person. You made a comment that was complimentary but offensive. And so we got to fire you now. That's what we got to do. We just got to fire you. I mean, that's kind of pretty much the rule in place. You don't violate certain rules or you get fired. And this guy just gets demoted. Right? If you're an employee and you see sexual harassment going on in some part of the company, you see your boss sexually harassing a coworker, and you don't report it, you fail to report it to the higher-ups, to the honchos, you should be expected that you're going to, you committed laborial suicide. You're going to be fired by your own actions because you failed to report this. You knew about it, somebody knows you knew about it or can prove you knew about it, and you didn't tell anybody, and now it cost the company a bunch of money because you didn't tell us what was going on, and it got worse. So that cost us money. That is antithetical to your position and our purpose for your employee, and so therefore it is herefore terminated. Forthwith, immediately. Goodbye. Pack your box. There's a guy here to walk you out. But with the police, it's just, oh, you know what? We're going to have to demote you. And so you're just going to do this job now. He's still doing the same job. He's just got less authority. Got somebody looking over him a little more. Farrier was a lieutenant for 6 months and a sergeant for 7 years prior, he said. But he let this go on. Yonner would not say who did what, but 2 of the officers are considered suspects in the criminal investigation, while the third is a witness. All 3 officers have been wearing body cameras, but they were turned off at the time, he said. Oh, see, that's the trouble with giving police that are operating these cameras the authority to operate them. I say your duty sergeant turns that bitch on when you go on duty, and he turns it off when he goes off duty. Everything else you're doing is getting recorded. End of story. You can't just conveniently shut off the camera when you want to beat somebody's ass without authority. If you're going to kill a suspect because you're going to commit murder as a torturous murderer, and you want to get away with it by turning off your camera and throwing a gun down, which is, I think, what they did here, down south, South Carolina, or is it North Carolina? I get the Carolinas mixed up. I don't know which one it's in. The 19-year-old, a Phoenix resident, brought the matter to the department's attention, Yonner said. The man reported that several officers stopped him for a traffic violation at about 3:30 in the morning, September 13th. The officers reported to have found marijuana in his vehicle during the stop. When the marijuana was found, the man told police officers demanded he eat the marijuana to avoid being taken to jail. Man said he ate about a gram of the marijuana, was issued traffic tickets, and then released. He reported being sick as a result. Yonner said the alleged incident is, quote, contrary to anything we stand for as a community servant and undermines the good actions of the men and women of the Phoenix Police Department, and he's exactly right. You're going to be viewed by your weakest link, and you can't stand as good officers, as good as you may be. There are a lot of great officers out there. I commend them. You took the job. And you do your jobs with due diligence and with proper measured force when it's necessary. But when you allow people in your department, within your force, known, seen to be participating in unethical ways or in ways that are contrary to department policy or the law, and you allow that to go on without reporting it, you, in the eyes of criminal law, are just as guilty as the ones committing the crime because you're an accessory to it. You're allowing it to occur. And your badge is besmirched by their activity just as much as theirs is. Despite the incident, Yonner said Thursday he's confident in our hiring process and that the department will do our due diligence as we move forward. He would not disclose what the officers will be charged with in the criminal investigation. And so there you go on that. Really quickly down the rest of the list, a marijuana conference in Philly going on, brutally honest advice, getting into the business. Warning, warning, this comes with risk attached. Army reminds soldiers to just say no to marijuana. I don't know how I missed this one today. This is in the Fairbanks Daily News. You know what? If you want to be in the Army, you better stay away from the pot store. That's what they're basically saying. I wonder if they ever said that during Prohibition days. You're talking about the days between World War I and World War II. Right? The big two didn't happen yet. The WW2 didn't occur yet. When Prohibition happened, like I said, this clock turned a lot slower when you lived there. I'm sure it did. When you look at it historically, it's a blip in time, but when you live it, it's a grind. And I want to know if the Army rejected people drinking alcohol during the Prohibition days. 4 brothers kidnapped and forced to work on marijuana farm in Northern California. Whoa, 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 whoa. How did I miss that today? I just can't believe I missed that story. This is in the LA Times. I'm going to repost it right now. I just didn't see this story. Wow. So here it goes. Just briefly. This was published yesterday. The 4 brothers from Modesto showed up one late July night at a home in the remote town of West Point in Northern California, injured and scared. 3 of them were taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and a harrowing tale about to be forced to work at a marijuana farm and amid torture and murmurs about having them killed. The farm was near a long, narrow, winding road to the middle of nowhere, said the sheriff captain. It can seem like you're a world away from home. Authorities are investigating possible drug cartel activity after the brothers said they were kidnapped and forced to work for more than 5 months on an enormous illegal farm under the threat of violence. What? The Calaveras County Sheriff's Department this week announced that the arrest of 2 women, Guadalupe Arenello and Madara Uberetta. Actually, it's Madara Estudillo. It's Estudillo. My Spanish isn't so hot. It's Estudillo. They're 43 and 34, these women. Arrested September 14th in Modesto and charged with human trafficking, kidnapping, battery with serious bodily injury, making terrorist threats, and drug charges, authorities said. Wow. So the Mexican cartels have moved into Northern California. Excuse me. Sheriff's officials are seeking 2 men in connection with the case. In February, Arenello picked up 2 men from the Modesto business known as a place where day laborers congregate. Macedo said at a news conference that the men she needed help working on a landscaping. She told the men, she said at a news conference, that she needed help working on a landscaping project at a home in Calaveras County. So she basically went and said, hey, you guys, we're doing some construction. We need some labor help. And so they went to where all the poor people who don't have a job go, hanging out to wait for a work truck to come by and employ them for the day. And so they came by and raped the 4 people that they took with them by forcing them to work for free on a pot farm. That's what they did. The brothers worked at a home in West Point for several days before being taken by force to a nearby marijuana cultivation site where they were threatened, according to the sheriff's office. Arenello got the men's home address in Modesto and went to the residence where she told family members that the 2 were working for her on a marijuana farm. She offered to take 2 more relatives to the site, but told them that if they said anything to law enforcement, their family members would be killed. 2 additional brothers went with her to the West Point site, where they were threatened by armed men, taken to their family members, and forced to work on the marijuana harvest, while the remaining family members in Modesto were continually threatened by the captors. This all according to authorities. So you got to consider the source. The 4 men, whose names have not been released, were kept in squalid conditions, sleeping on cots outdoors. They were severely beaten for complaining about the conditions. At one point, one of the men heard a male captor ask Arenello whether he could kill the victims. Arenello reportedly told the captors no, because they were nearly done with the marijuana harvest and that they could be killed after the finish and not before. About that time, one of the captors tried to stab one of the victims, holding a gun and a knife at the same time. That night, on July 27th, the men escaped and ran into West Point home, where a resident called authorities. 3 of the men had significant visible injuries. The injured men were taken to a nearby hospital. One had to be taken to a trauma center because of the severity of his wounds. On July 28th, law enforcement officials from Calaveras and another county and federal agencies served a search warrant near Bald Mountain Road, where they located the growth operation. They found 23,245 marijuana plants with an estimated street value of $18 million, they say. 18 to 60 million. That's a big guess there. Is it 20 or is it 60? If you're counting dollars, is it a $20 bill or a 50 and a 10? Is it a $20 bill or 3 $20 bills? It seems to be somewhere in between there. Hey, how much are you getting pay me an hour for this work we're going to do? Well, 20 to 60. Really? It makes me believe a lot less in the 60 end that I'm even going to get the 20 end. 20 to 60, right? So somewhere between 20 and 60. There's a lot of leeway up in that higher end. You want me to dream in that space, and then you're going to give me the 20, aren't you? 18 to 60 million. So there you go. I mean, you got crazy people in California from drug cartels in Mexico, because there's a thriving black market now in California, given that they haven't, wrestled that steer by its horns and figured out that if we don't do something with regulating cannabis the way that the public wants to use it, because we figured out we can't stamp it out, we figured we can't jail our way out of this. We don't have the money, or don't want to spend the money to offer people, other forms of alternatives, like, I don't know, let's send them to rehab. Oh, that'll always work. Especially people who are using medical marijuana. You guys, as a judge, I'm just going to say this while I sentence you. I say that you're a terrible, horrible person for using cannabis and saying that somehow it's helping you with your terrible whatever. What do you got? You got lupus? You got the chronic AIDS? You say that you're a cancer patient. You're taking chemo, your hair's falling out, you're throwing up. You need something to... I'm sorry. You're a horrible person for using marijuana. You're just horrible. Jail time.
The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.